Europe is not just a continent on the map. It is a living museum, a patchwork of cultures, languages, and landscapes that feels impossibly dense for its size. In just a few hours of travel, you can move from snow-covered mountains to palm-lined coasts, from medieval stone villages to ultra-modern cities lit by glass and steel. It is where ancient civilizations rose and fell, where empires were built, where revolutions began, and where art, science, and philosophy reshaped how the entire world thinks. This documentary is a journey across that continent, across places that have inspired artists, explorers, musicians, and dreamers for centuries. From rugged northern cliffs to sun-bleached islands in the south, from quiet alpine lakes to cities that never really sleep, we will travel through some of the most beautiful and meaningful destinations in Europe. Let's begin. Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh rises from volcanic hills like a city carved from stories. The skyline is dominated by its medieval castle, perched high on Castle Rock, watching over narrow alleyways and stone streets that twist downward toward the old town. This is a city where the past never feels far away. Every corner seems to have a legend of kings, writers, philosophers, and rebels. In the evening, the city glows gold under street lamps, and the wind carries the sound of bagpipes from distant squares. Modern life flows through the new town, but history remains the heartbeat. Edinburgh feels like walking inside a novel, dramatic, moody, and unforgettable. Scottish Highlands. Beyond the cities, Scotland opens into vast wilderness. The Highlands are not gentle landscapes. They are wild, dramatic, and almost haunting. Mountains rise steeply from deep glens. Mist hangs low over dark lakes that have sparked myths for generations. Villages are small and scattered. Time moves slowly here. This is where you understand why poets and filmmakers keep returning. The land itself feels alive. Sunlight breaks through clouds in sudden bursts, painting the hills in shifting shades of green and gold. It is raw beauty, shaped by wind, rain, and silence. Ireland is often described as 40 shades of green, and it truly feels like that. Rolling hills, stone fences, grazing sheep, and cliffs that drop sharply into the Atlantic, the landscape is poetic. But Ireland's greatest treasure might be its people and stories. Across the island, you find ruins of castles, abbeys, and ancient Celtic sites. Music spills from pubs at night. Laughter is easy. Conversations stretch long. The country carries both joy and history. Struggles, migrations, resilience, all woven into its identity. It feels warm, even under gray skies. London, United Kingdom. London is a world within a city. Double-decker buses, black cabs, palaces, parks, street markets, and glass skyscrapers. Everything coexists. You can stand on a bridge over the River Thames and see centuries layered in front of you. Medieval towers, Victorian bridges, and modern architecture rising in the distance. The city never truly slows down. It is a global center for finance, art, fashion, and ideas. But at the same time, you can step into quiet neighborhoods, bookstores, or tea rooms where life feels softer. London's charm is in contrast, old and new, calm and restless. The Greek islands look unreal, almost like paintings brought to life. Whitewashed houses spill down hillsides toward that deep blue water. Narrow streets twist between homes, each with these bright blue doors. The sun, it just reflects off everything, sea, stone, and sky, filling the islands with so much light. Each island has its own character. Some are lively, full of music and nightlife, while others are peaceful, made for long conversations and slow walks. Ancient ruins sit right beside the beaches, reminding visitors that these islands have seen thousands of years of human history, mythology, and trade. Prague feels frozen in time. a city that somehow escaped those modern glass skylines and kept its fairy tale rooftops. Gothic towers, bridges covered with statues, and winding lanes create an atmosphere that's really unlike anywhere else in Europe. The Vltava River cuts through the city, reflecting castle walls and cathedral spires. At dawn, the Charles Bridge fills with soft light and quiet footsteps. At night, the city glimmers as musicians perform under lanterns. Prague is romantic, mysterious, and deeply atmospheric. Switzerland is where nature feels perfectly designed. Lucerne sits by a tranquil lake, surrounded by mountains that seem almost too symmetrical to be real. Wooden bridges, painted facades, and calm water make the town look almost like a model village. Then the Alps rise behind it, dramatic snow-covered peaks stretching toward the sky. Trains climb through valleys and along ridges, revealing glaciers, waterfalls, and green meadows dotted with tiny wooden chalets. The air feels crisp and quiet. The mountains teach humility. They were here long before us, and honestly, they'll remain long after. Hallstatt sits beside a mirror-like lake with houses clinging to steep slopes. The village looks like it was gently placed there rather than built. It is peaceful, almost dreamlike. Reflections of mountains ripple in the water, and church towers rise elegantly from the shoreline. Vienna, in contrast, feels grand and royal. Wide boulevards, imperial palaces, opera houses, and cafes define the city. It is the home of classical music legends, where symphonies and waltzes shaped European culture. Yet it also feels youthful and creative, full of students, artists, and thinkers continuing its legacy. Budapest is divided by the Danube River into Buda and Pest, hills on one side, flat boulevards on the other. At night, the Parliament building glows along the riverbank like a golden crown. Thermal baths, ornate bridges, and historical cafes create a unique rhythm of life. The city has lived through empires, wars, and revolutions, and that history is visible in its architecture and monuments. Yet it feels forward-looking, full of energy and renewal. Amsterdam feels playful. Bicycles outnumber cars. Canals run like veins through the city, lined by narrow houses leaning slightly forward. Boats glide slowly, and tulips fill markets in spring. The city has long been a symbol of openness, a place of art, trade, and independent ideas. Museums hold masterpieces, while street life feels relaxed and welcoming. It is compact, easygoing, and full of curiosity. Italy is not just one story, it is a collection of them. Rome is an open-air archive of Western civilization, ancient ruins standing beside living neighborhoods. Every stone seems to whisper history. Florence is the birthplace of the Renaissance, where painters, architects, and philosophers changed how the world sees beauty and knowledge. Venice floats on water, its canals acting as streets, its bridges tying together centuries of art and trade. The Amalfi coast twists along cliffs above turquoise water, while Cinque Terre's colorful villages cling to the rock like ornaments. Sardinia offers wild coastlines and quiet beaches where time seems to stop. Everywhere in Italy, cuisine, family, and conversation are central. Meals stretch into memories. Spain balances tradition and creativity. Barcelona bursts with bold architecture, from Gothic quarters to Gaudi's imaginative designs that curve and swirl like dreams built in stone. Madrid, at the heart of the country, pulses with museums, plazas, and late-night life. The Balearic Islands bring crystal-clear waters and sun-drenched days, while the Pyrenees Mountains form a rugged natural border. Snow-capped peaks, deep valleys, and small villages tucked into the landscape. Spain tells its story through music, food, and an unhurried approach to life. Paris is a city that needs little introduction. Bridges over the Seine, cafes filled with writers and conversations, museums holding some of the world's most famous art. The Eiffel Tower rises above it all, iconic yet constantly reinterpreted by each new generation that visits. The French Riviera feels completely different. Palm trees, warm breezes, and bright blue sea. It has long attracted artists, filmmakers, and travelers seeking sunlight and elegance. Inland, mountains stretch across the horizon, completing France's diverse landscape. Portugal. Porto, Algarve, Madeira, Azores. This country sits at the very edge of Europe, gazing outward toward the vast Atlantic Ocean. Porto, with its hills overlooking the Douro River, is a city full of charm, adorned with tiled buildings and impressive bridges arching above the water. Now, if you head further south, you'll find the Algarve, famous for its golden cliffs and beaches that have been beautifully sculpted by waves and wind over time. And then, far out in the ocean, there are Madeira and the Azores. These volcanic islands are a sight to behold, covered with lush green valleys, cascading waterfalls, and dramatic coastlines. They feel remote, yet there's this deep connection to the sea, shaped by the explorers who once set sail from Portugal to map the world. Now, let's talk about Slovenia, Lake Bled. This place looks as if it belongs in a fairy tale illustration, don't you think? You have this calm lake, with an island right in the middle, crowned by a charming church. And just imagine, a medieval castle perched high on a cliff, overlooking the scene. All of this is surrounded by majestic mountains. Rowboats move gently across the water, adding to the serene and deeply cinematic atmosphere. It's truly a magical spot. Croatia's coast is, well, a chain of islands and stone cities rising from the Adriatic Sea. Dubrovnik's city walls enclose marble streets and terracotta roofs, a fortress that has stood firm through centuries of storms and conflicts. Plitvice Lake's National Park reveals another side of Croatia: turquoise waters, terraced lakes, and waterfalls flowing through lush forest. And Hvar brings sunshine, lavender fields, and, lively coastal life. Belgrade sits at the meeting of two major rivers, full of contrasts. Socialist-era blocks next to cafes, fortresses beside modern nightlife. It is resilient, full of history and change. Kotor, in Montenegro, hides at the end of a winding bay surrounded by mountains. Its old town is a maze of narrow streets and stone buildings preserved across centuries. Transylvania in Romania stretches with forests, villages, and medieval towns, a landscape wrapped in legends and folklore. Beyond, the Caucasus Mountains rise rugged and remote, forming natural boundaries between worlds. Helsinki blends Scandinavian minimalism with seaside calm. Stockholm spreads across islands connected by bridges, mixing royal palaces with modern districts. Norway's fjords and coastal towns like Bergen and the Lofoten Islands feel dramatic and untouched. Steep cliffs, fishing villages, endless ocean horizons. The Faroe Islands appear almost otherworldly, with grass-covered houses and sea stacks rising from misty waters. Iceland completes the northern journey. Glaciers, black sand beaches, lava fields, and waterfalls shaped by fire and ice. The ring road loops around these landscapes, revealing just how dynamic and powerful nature can be. Europe cannot be summarized in a single film or a single journey. Every country, every city, every valley carries its own identity, shaped by centuries of culture and conflict, art and migration, nature and human imagination. What ties the continent together is its incredible diversity. Distances are short, but differences are vast. Traveling across Europe means moving through layers of time. Roman roads, medieval castles, Renaissance art, industrial revolutions, world wars, modern innovation. all coexist, often side by side. And perhaps that is the real magic of Europe. It reminds us how deeply connected the world is, how history shapes the present, and how landscapes and cultures continue to inspire new ideas.